St. Martin de Porres was born in 1579 in the country of Peru. His father was a Spanish nobleman, and his mother was a freed black slave. His father left Martin and his family when Martin was just a little boy. His mother was so poor, she could only afford to send him to school for 2 years. At the age of 10, when most children are in 4th grade, Martin had to go out in the grown-up world and start working. Can you imagine that? Going to work when you're just in 4th grade, when you're all of 10 years old? Now, your school is your work, and be glad of it. Martin worked for a doctor who taught him how to heal sick people. He loved his job because he enjoyed helping people. Some time passed, and he started working in a monastery, which is a house for monks who are priests totally dedicated to God and singing the praises of God in something we call the divine office. He was put in charge of attending to people suffering from many forms of illnesses. Martin would not only tend to their health, but he would pray long, hard hours for them. And guess what? Miracles began to occur, and many sick people were healed because of Martin's prayers. He became very popular, as you can imagine. The Bible counsels us to pray continually. St. Paul wrote about it in one of his letters, the first letter to the Thessalonians. We must always remember, all things are possible with God. When Martin was older, he became a priest himself and continued caring for the sick until the day he died. Martin was a loving priest. He not only loved people, but he also loved things that some of us might think were creepy, such as mice and spiders. Martin was known to say, "I love all God's creatures, even lowly mice." Some people would jump up on a chair or beat a mouse with a broom if they saw it, but not Martin. There have been many saints throughout the centuries who loved and appreciated God's creatures, even the smallest of ones. For example, St. Francis of Assisi, he talked to birds. St. Anthony of Padua talked to fish. And St. Martin, well, he talked to mice. But the priests in Martin's monastery, they did not like the mice so much. Why? Well, the mice were destroying their vestments and eating their food. They set traps because they were determined to catch all the mice. I wonder what would have happened if they had got a cat. Now, I bet St. Martin would have blessed the cat, and the cat would have left the mice alone. One day, Martin found a poor, suffering little mouse in one of the traps set by his brother priests. He rescued the mouse and scooped him up in his hand and said, "Go tell all your friends not to do us any more harm, and then come every day to the back of the garden, and I will feed you, my little brother." Martin's fellow priests were dumbfounded when they saw all the mice in the monastery lined up behind the rescued mouse. The mice followed their leader and marched out the door to the back garden. Martin was very charitable. Charitable means loving. So Martin was called Martin the Charitable because he was kind to everyone and loved all of God's creatures, even the pesky mice. Anyone who could love even a lowly mouse deserves a mansion in heaven, perhaps even a castle. Martin also brought many sick people to the monastery where he and the priests lived, and he spent hours nursing them back to health. His superior may have been afraid of germs because he ordered Martin to not bring any more sick people to their house. However, Martin disobeyed his superior and took a poor, wretched beggar who was covered with sores to his room and let him sleep in his own bed. When the superior found out what Martin had done, he was furious with him. Martin defended himself by replying, "I can wash my own sheets and make them clean again, but if I do not help this poor man, I cannot wash away the sins on my soul." Martin felt it was more important to show charity to the poor man instead of obeying what his superior commanded him to do. Although in this case, because he let him sleep in his own bed, it wasn't taking up any more room in the infirmary, I would wager to say that Martin was still trying to be obedient to the order of his superior. He just wanted to still care for the man. St. Martin accomplished many things during his lifetime, and he helped many peoples and creatures. He started an orphanage. An orphanage is a place where those who have lost their father or mother live, the orphans. He also started a hospital for poor children and shelters for stray dogs and cats. He was a kind of veterinarian of his day. He is sure to have a mansion in heaven due to his charitable acts, his loving deeds. Martin de Porres was the very first black saint from the Americas. St. Martin's feast day is November the 3rd. Pope John the 23rd, now also a saint, said, St. Martin de Porres really walked in Jesus' footsteps. If we could all learn to be like St. Martin, we would have a peaceful, happy world. You see, being like the saints means that we are being like Jesus. And when we are behaving like Jesus, then we are definitely peace and light for all the world.